Hey guys, Will here with my friend Links,
Hey guys.
and today we're gonna be talking mostly She-Hulk. We'll see how the conversation goes, but this is all about She-Hulk.
Yes. But before we get started on that, I do have a trivia question for you.
I may hear it.
So, William, you're a big history person.
Oh gosh,
When did the potato famine begin?
it was like 16 or 1700. I know that. Man, I think it was 1700s.
It was 1845
Damn it, because I was thinking about that too. Because when did all
to
the Irish come
1852.
over?
hmm
And because the potato farming. Um, yeah, that sounds about right. 1800s. Yeah, just like 100 years off. Um, I like how I said 1600s when like
Yeah.
America didn't even. Wait a minute, my brain was not working because America only existed like the last quarter of the 17th century. Um, yeah, I kind of just botched that entirely.
William is not a history person. We're going to have to.
My whole branding is gone now.
Yes. But another question is what would you like to see adapted into a movie? This is the question of the week.
Into
Like it
like
could
a
either
live
be a
action.
franchise, yeah, or like it could be a franchise. It could be uh comic book, superhero stuff, whatever you want.
So we're talking live action, or do we mean
Yes.
like okay?
Let me
Um,
let me do this question then. What superhero movie would you like to see?
with superhero movie.
Yes, be adapted into a movie
Okay.
or what comic?
I oh gosh.
I
I mean,
think I
of
have my
course,
picks
I'd
for
like to
you.
see. Of course, I'd like to see a Daredevil movie.
Yes.
Um, but like, if we're not talking Daredevil,
I mean,
I
we can.
definitely would want. If I like, if I was gonna say, okay, not Daredevil,
Oh, okay.
Injustice.
Okay, I like that. I didn't think about that. I thought you were gonna go Punisher, but after that. That's a really good pick. I think that would be a really interesting movie.
Yeah,
Really cool to see
movies.
live action. Yeah, movies.
It would have to be movies. No way you could do it in one movie.
Um, Mine is The Invaders. I'd love to see that, or I'd love to see. There's so much I want to see. Kingdom Come would be awesome. Or
Yeah,
like I don't know, but I really want to see an old school Invaders movie with the old school Human Torch, Jim Hammond. I think that's his name. Toro, Bucky, Cap, and Namor. I think that would just be a really cool movie.
it would be cool. I think an original Defenders. Yeah, sorry, an original Defenders movie would be kind of cool. Yeah,
Like with Doctor Strange and Hulk.
and Namor,
Yeah,
because we have all three of those in the MCU now.
that's true.
But
That would be a really cool movie.
they would never
Another
do
one.
it, but it would be cool.
Mhm. Another one that comes to mind is a Justice League Dark movie. Would be amazing.
Would Doctor Fate be in it?
Probably not.
Yeah, but it would be cool seeing Zatanna, Constantine, because Keanu Reeves is coming back.
I don't like that casting. I really don't.
I mean, I thought he did fine in the first movie, but um, I don't expect Keanu Reeves to do a British accent, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Not being blonde either. I don't Maybe they give him. I mean, if they make him Aryan, that might be interesting because that's what John Constantine is. Give him those blue eyes, blonde hair.
Yeah. Gosh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Etrigan would be cool. Then you have Deadman as well.
That man would be really cool.
Deadman's a cool character.
Austin Braun.
I don't know. DC has so much to do. Because we still need a good like Hal Jordan and Barry Allen relationship, like friendship wise. You know, Green Arrow. We need a good Green Arrow because Green Arrow is such a cool character.
I mean, so technically, I think it's part of the whole, like, I don't know what it's called, DCE EU, Cyberverse, the John Cena movie, not movie, TV show, Peacekeeper TV show, which was really good, really R-rated, but really good. They mentioned Green Arrow and other stuff, so I guess they exist. But I mean,
I wonder if it's like the Arrow version or not.
Probably not. What I think is interesting is like when they mention Green Arrow in the show, they called him a brony. It says he likes getting dressed up as a horse and doing things as dressed up as a horse. Yeah, that show is wild.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I guess we're gonna move on to She-Hulk.
Yeah. So I think we should review it first and then talk about the implications at the end.
Before we get started, spoilers ahead. Should you watch She-Hulk because it's a good show? No.
It's not a good show. Should you watch it?
Watch the 8th episode. Just watch the 8th episode. The 7th episode is good too. If you watch the 8th episode, you will be good. Like it's a good time. It's fun. It makes it worth it. The rest of the show is not my favorite.
I think if you started watching it, episode 7, the rest of the show is decent enough. I mean, the 9th episode is just kind of wild. So I don't know how I feel over the 9th episode fully. But
yeah, I don't know if I had to give it out of 10. Before I watched the 9th episode, I would have given it a 6, but I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah, I was thinking a 5 or a 4, honestly.
Because there was parts I thoroughly did enjoy, but the majority of it was not it. The 9th episode completely ruined everything, I think. It was just a pointless show. We will definitely have to do a rewrite for this show, I think.
That sounds fun. Gosh, I'm trying to... So, was that spaceship from the first episode from Sakaar?
I guess so. So, we're just going to be talking right now, if you haven't seen it. Basically, they did a whole Planet Hulk thing, like, outside of the show, and we didn't get to see any of it.
Which, I mean, okay, so Planet Hulk, they took half of it and put it in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And the other half they did off screen in She-Hulk. So I feel like they don't like Hulk. Like, this would have been such a good thing for Hulk if they had made this into a movie, like given him a Planet Hulk movie and didn't throw him into Ragnarok like that.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, there's Scar.
Yeah, he's just there, which is...
That's how you pronounce his name, right?
Yeah, Scar.
I always saw it in the TV shows with like, I don't know, there was a TV show on a while ago, which it was the Hulk show.
Yeah, and it was Red Hulk.
I loved A-Bomb. That was cool.
A-Bomb. I forgot about A-Bomb. He's like the most random
Yeah,
Like,
it can turn invisible, and I'm like, what the heck? This dude is awesome.
I don't even know how he exists, but like, yeah. I mean, gosh, I feel kind of cheated because of that. Um, wouldn't have been crazy if they actually like the ending to She-Hulk. I know I'm skipping so far ahead. The ending to it, where like all the characters are showing up and it's not making any sense. I would have liked that better than what happened. I think
I agree. I totally agree.
'Cause it was crazy when like Hulk came popping in, Titania came in. I mean, Todd Hulk. I didn't really like Todd Hulk, but like good way to introduce Amadeus.
Yeah,
Um, like the possibility from existing. Um, and then like if Scar was with Hulk and they were fighting Abomination and Todd Hulk and Titania along with She-Hulk on their side, if it was like Hulk, She-Hulk, and Scar just randomly there versus Abomination, even though he's not really a bad guy, it's just kind of big misunderstanding. Um, Titania and Todd Hulk. I think that would have been an interesting fight.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
to be fair, though, doesn't make any sense in the slightest. But
Here we'll talk about the ending in a little bit, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Um,
jumping too
let's go
far
over
ahead.
some pros of the show. Um,
Daredevil,
Cameos were definitely really cool within the show.
yeah, with Woo, Daredevil, Leapfrog was pretty good, I think.
hmm
Um,
I even liked, I think the guy who was her designer did his part
yeah,
really well.
I liked him too.
Like, I really liked that character because he's like, nope, I'm not making you anything anymore. When she had to take him to court,
Yeah, that was funny. I think
but
the characters we saw in episode 7 are very interesting.
yeah, Abomination,
Abomination was
amazing.
really good.
I mean, not ideally what I wanted to see from the show, right? Because we wanted an Abomination fight,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm trying to think of more pros in the show.
Well, it's mostly just the characters that are from other things that were good.
Yeah,
Um, I think She-Hulk's CGI got like good. Like I think it was decent.
yeah, it felt better as I watched the show more.
Yeah.
I will say that.
They I don't know. I feel like the show wasn't meant for men, you know? Which I kind of understand because a lot of the stuff they're talking about is definitely female or women oriented. Um, but I feel as though even a lot of women probably didn't like the way they showed things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, moving on to a con. A con motivations behind characters. She-Hulk had no motivation whatsoever.
There was
I
no
didn't feel connected to the character very much. There were some parts where I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome, that she found Daredevil, or I feel bad for her. But, you know, there's nothing really there. She did just kind of like, I don't know, she wasn't the best lawyer.
Oh yeah, she was not.
She just kind of got the job because she was She-Hulk, and it was like, okay. Um, and that whole thing in the last episode with like the intelligentsia made no sense. One
Also,
quote I'm going to say from him is, "We believe the best person should get superpowers, the best person for the job." And I was like, okay, the writers on this show are just they're trying to make it political for one.
They are.
And for two, it doesn't fit in that circumstance. So it just sounds so dumb.
I never once thought about that, where it's like superpowers should only be given to those who like are skilled already for the powers. I don't know. But Todd also is not the person for the powers though. Like he wasn't the right choice. So it doesn't even make any sense.
I don't get it either. It's just it would have been much better if the character or the organization was like superheroes should be held to a higher standard. Like it's not appropriate what this superhero is doing. She's kind of a villain taking advantage of people by being She-Hulk. She wouldn't have this job, and the only reason she does is because she's She-Hulk. It's not fair.
That would have been a good.
Yeah, but they went with the whole thing where like, I'm just a guy online.
I don't know. There's a bunch of incels hitting women, which is
sorry.
What's up?
I missed what you said. What did you say?
It's just like a bunch of incels who hate women.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it felt really weird, and there was no main villain.
Yeah, it feels like there wasn't a reason for this show. It was just like, oh, She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters gets her powers, and this is her life with those powers. It's like just a show about her living her life, which, okay.
Two major things I think they should have done. I told you the one with the intelligence. Yeah, they should have changed the motive to superheroes should be held to a higher standard, and also it's not fair that someone with superhero, is acting like this and gets this when they don't deserve it. But then also they should have done it to where she was passed out, and to save her life, Bruce gave her a blood transfusion.
In the comics?
Yes, because that makes it's more compelling, because it's like, I didn't want this. It was something that was given to me. Like, I didn't choose to, live. Like, the choice was made for me.
But She-Hulk isn't even like that, though. She-Hulk's all about being She-Hulk. She doesn't care really for Jennifer Walters like that. Like, she's all about She-Hulk. She just likes She-Hulk better than herself, which they kind of did at certain points. But then they okay, you gotta find a balance to it, which I think is fair. But She-Hulk likes being She-Hulk.
But I think they should have done that, and that would have been way more compelling, because, I never asked to be this thing. You did that, and you made that decision for me, and it's like, oh, I can help. Like, just imagine those two sides. It's like, she's not worthy of this, and then, it's unfair that she got this when she's, abusing it, and, then she's like, well, I never asked to have these powers, I never wanted them in the first place. I think that would have been really, a cool dichotomy, and it's like, the Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility. I don't know, but I think that would have been cool.
I can't even, think about what happened in, the first couple episodes. I forget it. All I remember is, from the wedding episode onward. Don't remember anything before that.
I remember from the Abomination episode. What was that? Episode 3?
Oh, gosh, I don't even know.
Let me look real quick.
Yeah.
But if you want, while I'm looking at that, we can talk about the final episode.
Kevin Feige, actually a robot. Confirmed.
I hated that. I hated that so much.
like Kevin Feige, robot.
That was so dumb. It was like again, it was supposed to be funny, and it was, but it was like this
Still
is
Kevin.
that was terrible.
All right, I have the episode thing also pulled up.
I mean, there's the first one where she's riding the car and she gets her powers, right?
Yeah, and then it like ends with her, like how it got out that she was She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as sorry, yawning. As far as first episodes go, it definitely wasn't the worst WandaVision. But it wasn't like really good though. It was just kind of like, okay, this is the first episode,
Yeah, I agree.
and that's kind of how it is for the second one too. It's just kind of building up. Um, and then you had the Emil Blonsky episode, which I feel like,
The third episode was cool, I thought.
yeah, it was good. I like that was good, I think. And then the fourth episode with Wu was definitely interesting. I didn't like the bad guy though. He's just
I wasn't a huge fan either, but I thought it was, I thought it was funny, so it was a good break, and it showed a little bit of action, which we didn't get a lot of action in this show if you think about it.
yeah, not really. And there was the copyright infringement, which with
That was a
the
terrible episode.
and that was bad. And then the wedding was also really bad. The retreat was good. Ribbit and Rip It was good. Um, and the last episode was um, I couldn't even tell you if it was good or not.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. I was like, this is how you're going to end like a 9-episode series? Like, you're not going to show us the fight? I mean, I get the Todd Hulk thing, which the guy who played Todd, I really hated him, so he did a good job.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, one part where I think we
Wakanda
talked
Forever.
about this, the Wakanda Forever part, I felt so awkward. I was like, yeah. I was
Oh
like,
gosh.
that's weird. I don't like that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they definitely ruined Abomination's character in the last episode for no reason. Like when the whole thing happened where She-Hulk is like, "Hey, this doesn't make any sense." It's like, "Yeah, you're right. Why would he become Abomination for these meetings? Like, there's no reason for that to be happening." So then at the end, where he's like, "Okay, I'm going back to jail for 10 years," you should have She-Hulk. You should have changed it to where he never did this. Like you just never did because it doesn't make any sense. You were changing all the other stuff that doesn't make any sense, but
It
not
doesn't
that.
make sense why he would really go back to prison for 10 years too. I was just like, that seems a little excessive. He was just like changing in for a meeting, you know?
Yeah, but it was like part of his parole where it's like, hey, as you are out of jail, you cannot do this, and if you do this, you're violating. So then you go back to jail.
Yeah, so it just felt weird.
Best part of that episode though, Daredevil just falls out of the sky.
Yeah, and then so many random things. It was like, what?
So like, are they a thing? I mean, they said okay, he's going back to New York, so they're not a thing, right? But like, is she gonna be in like the Daredevil show randomly at different points?
Maybe.
I like their relationship. I
I do
think
too.
that's a highlight for sure. I also like Pug. Pug's cool.
Yes. He he has such a weird accent. Like he's like kind of that one dude. I don't know what I was thinking of whenever I see him, but he's like, yeah, I got this hookup, like he's
Oh, yeah, the way
like
he
he's a
talks.
low key hype beast, but he's not. It's weird. I don't know. That's what he talks like too. Like he's kind of a hype beast, but not really.
You're
Like he
so
wants
right.
to be, but he's not.
He's
I,
like
I-
a he's like a oh gosh, he's like on the higher end of like the tax bracket, but he is like a hype beast where he's also like cutting deals and doing all kinds of things on the side. He's on
yeah.
that hustle.
And then I also liked her friend actually.
I see she kept doing stuff, which is like okay, it worked out for you, but like the things you did were like especially like I hated that one part where they're looking at like this board and it's like, okay, I'm gonna get revenge on these guys. I'm gonna like file a lawsuit. I'm gonna do this and do that. And then her friend's like, by any means necessary. I'm not trying to go to jail, you know? I'm trying to sue these guys, find out who they are legally, trouble.
Yeah.
And she keeps like trying to get her to do stuff, which I don't know. I don't like that.
I thought she was an okay character because, I feel like the relationship between those two characters was kind of, you know, I feel like that's what your friend would do. Your friend's like, "Oh no, you should get him. Go after him." Your friend hypes you up like that, or is like, "I got your back" or whatever.
Lincoln,
You,
you would never tell me to brutalize people.
well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Like, what is there ever a situation where you or me are gonna hype each other up to go beat up some people?
Well, someone killed your dog, but I'm just kidding. Turns into John Wick.
See, that's acceptable though. I'll take a dead dog. Okay.
No, but just like she had that concept as a friend of like, this is my, I don't know, that's my friend. I would do a lot for her, and I don't know, I kind of liked it.
Well, I guess that's just a difference of opinion. But I do have to say, with the ninth episode, they talked about different things, like the X Men, which I was like, okay, random X Men mention.
Oh yeah, and then Red Hulk in the eighth episode. You're probably expecting like a Red Hulk to show up or something.
Yeah, yeah. Then the Wolverine claws with like the makeup. Um, I it was also okay. Let's talk about the biggest thing, the Planet Hulk thing. The Scar just there for some reason. He's like, "Here's my son, Scar."
He's way too old right now. It looks like.
Like I don't. How old is he in the Planet Hulk like comic? Like,
I
does
thought
he
he
age
was a
fast or
teenager.
something?
I don't know.
Because I was confused about this. 'Cause I was like, wait a minute. It is kind of weird that like Hulk had Scar on Planet Hulk, and then like Scar is a whole character, like in a comic, like a year or two later.
I also don't like the way he looks.
He looks like a CGI like monstrosity. Like Hulk, like looks like. I mean, he looked pretty decent the whole time. She Hulk, like I grew on me, so I was like, okay, he looks awful.
Yeah, he looks too much like a human. It's weird.
Yeah, and like I'm not even gonna question like how he came into existence. Like I in the MCU at least, because like is did he like have a kid with someone on uh in Thor Ragnarok?
I guess so. That'd have to be it, you know?
Is that Sakaar? Like, did I miss that in Thor Ragnarok? Is that planet Sakaar?
I don't know.
Like, I don't remember what the name of the planet was. Let me look this up. What's the name of the planet in Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, it's on Sakaar.
Okay, so it is. So it was Planet Hulk, and then he came back to Sakaar.
Guess so. Maybe they were trying to reach him because he had a son. I don't know. It's so many questions. It's like, oh my gosh, I wish you would have held off on that, you know, if you were just gonna do what you did. I don't know.
It's also weird because the Collector is the one who's in charge of Sakaar, right? So it's not the what's it called? The Red King. Is that what he was called? Trying to remember. Also, the comic, I'm not the most acquainted with it, to be fair. But I did
Planet
originally
Hulk.
see the animated Planet Hulk.
I'm not either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I just know like different things. Like in the Planet Hulk movie, the animated one, Hulk fights Beta Ray Bill. Does that happen in the comic? I have no idea.
Well, I imagine it happened on where they battled because, you know, Beta Ray Bill's statue is there.
Like, I guess it was just like one of the things that happened.
Oh, I do remember this.
But
Dang. Yeah, that'd be so cool to see, but I don't know.
I mean, we're definitely not going to get that because it just happened off screen.
Yeah.
Like all of Planet Hulk happened off screen, which is the part that happened in Ragnarok off screen. Like he very well may have had this fight against Beta Ray Bill and killed him. But not the Beta Ray Bill that we know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we didn't get Beta Ray Bill in general, though. You know?
Yeah, it's a shame.
I feel like, you know, Kevin Feige is fixing up some stuff, but I feel like, you know, the MCU does feel a little weird. That's
Especially
why,
with this ending to She-Hulk.
yeah, that's why Black Adam is going to make the DC EU the best.
I think it's gonna be a really good movie, but like I don't think it's gonna like change the dynamic. People are like, "Oh, Marvel's been dominating it since 2008. Now it's DC's turn."
I hope
Don't believe
so.
it. I don't believe it's gonna happen.
I hope so. If they can get good casting, if they fire Ezra Miller and they, uh, Flashpoint.
Yeah, um, they kind of like screwed themselves. I think.
Yeah, if they would have casted better, and then also everybody's praising Zack Snyder for like, oh, that was such a good Justice League movie. No, he ruined the whole entire DC extended universe. Like,
Well,
the
I
guy
mean,
still
you haven't
sucks.
seen the Snyder Cut, which I
Yeah,
like.
but he ruined the universe regardless. I don't know. He can't be praised for that. He
True.
didn't create the team we needed. He created the team he wanted. I still don't like him as a director. He just does one style. I could go on a whole rant about that.
All right. Well, the let's see here. Isn't James Gunn doing something?
Maybe. I thought he was kind of helping them restart, but I don't know.
Yeah, because he did Suicide Squad, which is a really good movie. Well, the Suicide Squad, I think, is what.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, and then he did Peacekeeper, which was also really good. Um, Vigilante is amazing in that show. But we're not here to talk about Peacekeeper. Let's get back with this, finishing the review for She-Hulk, and then we can keep the
Is
conversation
there much
going.
else to say?
Well, I mean, like, where do you think the MCU is going?
Oh,
after?
yes, you're right. Uh, New Avengers, I think, is gonna happen.
So instead of Hulkling, because I kind of botched that by like never having the first Marvel.
Well, I definitely see a West Coast Avengers in the future.
He thinks, well, they have a Young Avengers now. They just kind of threw it together all
Well,
like
not even like
randomly.
a Young Avengers, but like a West Coast
Nah, we
Avengers.
literally do have a Young Avengers though. We're getting Ironheart, who's the future Iron Man, right?
Yeah, that's
We
true.
have
Kate
Hawkeye.
Bishop.
We have Scar, who's the new Hulk, right?
We kind of have Speed and Wiccan.
Kind of.
They're not gonna do a Young Avengers without Hulkling.
They very well may. It's
Knowing
mean,
Disney, I don't think they will.
Here's another thing, right?
Just because the publicity they get from the relationship between
Hulkling and Wiccan.
Yes.
Well, I feel as though they would go for it, though, right? Like, I feel like that would be a goal for them to accomplish.
I know that's what I'm saying, but they can't do that if they replace Hulkling with Scar. Maybe they can. I don't know.
Maybe Hulkling will appear in Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. I'm thinking so. I don't know. It's definitely weird.
One thing that's interesting is like all the new heroes, like all of them are female, besides Captain America and like Scar. Like everyone who's new is female. They don't have like any guy besides all the ones I mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I heard they announced some news about like Kingpin and Spider-Man and how that's going to work. But I don't know if Tom Holland's really going to be down for that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about this. So they have She-Hulk. Like, let's just do it based off of the first Avengers movie. Right. So you have
Okay.
new Black Widow. You have new Hawkeye girl. You have new Iron Man, Ironheart girl. You have Captain America guy still. Though you could easily take him out and put in America Chavez, right? I'm just joking. Hulk. You have She-Hulk.
I don't think Ironheart would
Thor's
be
daughter.
an Avenger.
You don't think?
No, I think she'd be a young Avenger.
Well, I agree with you, but I'm saying like the replacements have all been
Shuri, Black Panther.
Shuri's Black Panther. Like I said, Thor's daughter, his adopted daughter, is going to become next one probably. Yeah, I mean, I think the only ones that are like the most powerful characters are all female now, which honestly, that's pretty okay. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but they're not like giving any of the characters, like the small ones, any love currently. It's gonna be all coming in the next year or two. They're replenishing their military might.
Yeah, it's definitely art because then you look at something like, what I'm excited for now, since Werewolf by Night is, Ghost Rider, Blade,
Yeah,
Man-Thing, like that sort of thing. And I wonder how they're going to incorporate that, because, the reports from the Blade movie so far have not been good. Like, the script, the director is fired. It's just, the actor who's playing Blade is like, I don't know if I want to play this role anymore.
Give it back
Uh,
to Wesley Snipes.
I know you'd love that.
Old Man Blade.
Old Man Blade. Old Man Hawkeye is cool.
Yeah, old man Hawkeye is kind of a problem. Like he's for some reason always strong.
Yeah, but I think there's definitely. I would love to see the. This is terrible. I would love to see a reset in the Marvel universe.
Well, you very well may get that because the multiverse. You
Yeah,
kind of forget the multiverse is happening while this is all happening. So it's like
with like Secret Wars, and I'd love to see them start and build up from the Fantastic Four.
I don't think you can like really do a restart. I think you can do like the equivalent of a New 52.
Yeah.
But then you can't really do it with any of the old characters though, because none of them want to like keep doing their role.
Yeah, I just feel like you're missing so much. Like, how are you going to incorporate the X-Men when you don't have this character? Or how are you going to incorporate the Fantastic Four when you... Actually, the Fantastic Four don't need anything to be incorporated. They're the Fantastic Four. But,
that Silver Surfer, though.
Yeah, like, the Fantastic Four is basically the spawn of every superhero within the Marvel universe, almost. I don't know. I'm not very happy with Spider-Man right now. I feel like we need a new Spider-Man, and that doesn't mean a Miles Morales. It means a new Peter Parker. Tom Holland doesn't seem committed to the role.
Maybe they'll do Spider-Gwen or Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider would be cool.
It would be cool, but I want to see like...
I know you really want to see the Peter Parker storylines that we just have not had the opportunity to see.
They could do the clone arc with Punisher,
Yeah. Oh, how about the Man Spider? That would be cool to see like that happen. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Just turns into like his mutation, like it messes up, and so like he'll go to the X-Men, and that's how you introduce them.
But I'm thinking like even we can do a Ben Reilly Spider-Man, because you can do a Jackal arc where I think Jackal was the clone arc where Punisher shows up. There's a lot of options. I'm also excited. I told you I'm gonna have to watch Daredevil, I think, just because I loved that 8th episode.
Yes, you must.
And I know you've been telling me that forever, but I'm like, wow, that was so cool.
Daredevil is cool. What's your opinion on Silk?
Okay character, like, I don't know. I'm not huge on like the new Spider. I guess it's not new. Yeah, I just like it simple. I think it was way better when John Romita Sr. was drawing, or even like Todd later down the line Todd McFarlane was writing. I don't know. The new Spider-Man stuff doesn't seem as good. I know in the comics, I know the last Spider-Man run was well received. This one that I just got is not very good. I don't know. There's just too much going on, I think. Need to go back to where times were simple, I think, with that.
I feel like they can't. They've already jumped the shark, kind of. So it's kind of hard to go back to those low-level characters that have really good stories and it not be weird. Because they're having a whole multiverse, right? And instead of doing like multiversal stories of like different characters, it's all set in our same universe. But who knows if we're gonna have that universe by the end of the multiversal, I guess, arc.
Yeah, so I was having this conversation with someone. It'd be interesting to have it with you. But I was talking about how superheroes are a children's thing. Doesn't mean adults can't like them, but superheroes have always been geared toward children until like now. Now they're geared toward adults, and I feel like that takes so much away from them. You know, originally they came out like Spider-Man was geared towards teens, not like children, but like teenagers.
And
You did have some that were edgier, like but I feel like a lot of these characters have just been taken from, and they're trying to change them completely to fit this sort of thing, and it makes the character a lot worse. Because Spider-Man, no matter how you write him, if you write him based towards an audience like he was originally intended, he feels like a much better character. I don't know. There's a lot of problems I have with the superhero industry and the movie making. I've already mentioned the intelligence thing, which you have to do that to an extent because you have these genius characters, and if you just played them like they're geniuses and whatever, people would not understand that fully.
I feel like even with the Illuminati, who are supposed to be just the smartest people, they just kind of none of them were smart. You had Professor X there, Reed Richards, but we all know the memes of how he just got them killed. And then Black Bolt loses his mouth, but still decides to shout, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, see, this is one thing. Never mind. That's not a good idea. I definitely see what you're talking about. I don't really have anything to say about it though, because I kind of agree with what you're saying. That's how it
I don't
is.
know. I just feel like a lot of times people are trying to take these characters and do their own thing with them. And it's no, they've been thriving for so long when you haven't been doing your own thing. Why would you change it up? Which I get the idea of you need to make the character new and fresh. That's why The Dark Knight is so famous, because it's a new, fresh Batman. Dark, gritty, and that's become associated with Batman now. But Batman wasn't always like that, and it worked, and this new version works, but doesn't mean every version after that's going to work,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little weird. I definitely think
they're
there's
definitely wrongly adapting them to the stories. They have who they are, but not the intricacies of the characters.
yeah.
For example, you had Black Panther. Yes, he looks like Black Panther. He has the name T'Challa. He's in Wakanda, but he's not super smart. He's not really that good at fighting, to be honest. He kind of isn't. Tell me a fight that he wins
The Winter
besides
Soldier.
the last fight.
The Winter Soldier. I think so, doesn't he?
See, I couldn't even tell you.
But my thing with stuff I don't know. Another thing I think is wrong with them. I guess this is just getting into what I think is wrong with this is really, really big blasphemy, but Spider-Man 2. Amazing movie.
Okay.
Amazing
Spider-Man
movie.
2 is good. Yeah. Okay.
Doc Ock.
How dare you?
Really is evil.
No.
But he doesn't feel evil in that movie.
He definitely isn't.
Why, as people, do we have to make these superhero villains justified and compelling? In some circumstances it works. For example, we talked about She-Hulk. Those people needed a cause, I think. they needed a compelling cause to make it fit well, but something like Doc Ock,
On paper, just want to watch the world burn.
yeah, he's just evil. Like, I know some people don't get that, but some people in life are just evil. They're just bad. Like, and I know it's terrible to think about, but we shouldn't feel sympathy for all these like supervillains because some of them are just bad. Some of them don't care. And I know it's like a lot of them are like products of their situation, and that's fine. But you can have people like that are still just bad.
Gotta take accountability. Can't
Yeah.
be like, oh, because of my situation, I'm like this. Well, you were in that situation, but you decided to go about it the same way other people do, instead of like rising above adversity.
Which you're always going to have something where, like, ideally a good villain will have a compelling reason why they do what they do, whether it's their childhood or whatever. But
like, I don't know. Everyone's like, "Oh, Thanos is right. Genocide is acceptable." Like,
yeah,
what are you talking about?
It's just like, I don't know. It's becoming too much of a problem where, like, is the villain more right than the hero? It's like, what? That doesn't make sense anymore. Which the Thanos case is definitely wrong. I don't agree with that at all. But
I mean, if you look at the most recent movies and their villains, right? So let's see here. What's the most recent MC movie? It's what's it called? Oh my gosh. No, it's Thor movie.
Oh yeah.
Was the God Butcher really the bad guy in this?
No, I wouldn't say so, but in the comics, he is a bad dude. Like,
oh yeah, he's a bad dude.
He had bad circumstances, but he enslaved gods to create a god bomb. Like, this is a bad dude, and it's just like, yes, they can have bad and tragic backstories, but that doesn't mean you have to make it like this is the solution and make it more right than the hero. I don't know. It feels weird. I mean,
that's a good example for what you were saying, and then it's also a good example for what I was saying, right? And then if you go to the one before that, it was Multiverse of Madness, right? The bad guy is who in them?
Wanda, but I really did not like that whole thing.
She's just Kingpin from what's it called? Spider-Verse. Looking for their kids.
Gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
She did do a lot of like bad things. Okay, that time I don't think anyone should feel bad for her. Okay. That case goes against what I was saying.
Yeah, but then again, she wasn't really a compelling villain because there was no reason for her to really be a villain. They just kind of were like, "Yep, she's bad."
There's no reason for that.
Because after WandaVision, it's like, yes, but like, I feel bad for her, and she's like, kind of helped herself, but I guess she really hasn't. It's weird. I don't know, but
I mean, the previous villains have kind of just been bad recently. Because, like, God Butcher wasn't really that good of a villain.
He could have been amazing, though, is the problem.
Scarlet Witch could also have been an amazing villain, but wasn't very good.
Well, I think it should have been Chthon, but that's my whole thing.
The Spider-Man, what was it called? I don't even know. No.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. The villains are all sympathy cases. Even the Green Goblin, which, I mean, yeah, Green Goblin's just bad. Doesn't matter if he's possessed by this evil thing. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Handled them all badly. The most recent villains, like when I think back on it, No Way Home, their villains weren't good.
Yeah, I agree with you. What made them good was the previous movies they were in.
Yeah. I mean, I think since Thanos, the villains have all been bad. Like not, yeah, they've been bad guys, but like not good villains.
No, I can agree with you there. It's just, I don't know. I feel like superheroes in general, yes, as a big company, you need to worry about how relevant stuff is. Will normal people understand it? But if you make them, I guess it's more towards Warner Brothers. If you make your characters like they're supposed to be, people will watch your movies. The DC animated movies, amazing. DC animated shows, amazing.
Yeah.
But what happens on that level where you're like, oh, I'm going to transcend that? I guarantee if you sat someone down and you're like, hey, we need to watch Justice League Unlimited, they'd be like, man, this is such a great show.
It is.
Once they finished it, because it's amazing, and it probably has some of the best portrayals of characters, you know, out of the superhero genre, just because they're done so right. But I don't know what happens, whether it's just like, you know, the money starts talking, or like, you know, they just get people.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's basically like money. Like it's the reason why is because it's easier to just do this, just using the name of the character and doing your own thing than having to go through the process of like learning everything about the character and stuff like that. They don't care, you know. You don't have people that actually care about what they're doing it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's like, why would you not? She-Hulk's not my favorite character, right? I never brought her comics or anything, but She-Hulk's a fun character. I can admit that. Not one I particularly read, because I'm more of a DC person in general. But there's just like a disconnect. It's like, how do I turn this character from, you know, this awesome character we see into like something that's just normalized? Yeah, fits my agenda, you know. But I don't know. It's weird because, you know, Hollywood is Hollywood, and Hollywood's gonna do what Hollywood's agenda is, which it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make money, or I'm gonna make this character not as good, but I think it's good because I don't understand the character. I don't know, but
it's kind of like with Kenobi. Like, they didn't do him right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, in which some people are like, man, Kenobi was an amazing show. I loved it so much, like, best TV show. I'm like, yeah, but it's a different character. Like, I don't know. This sort of stuff just doesn't sit well with me lately, and I've been thinking about it, like, you know, so much care was put into some of these characters. I will argue all day that Tom Holland is the worst Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I will also tell you, Tom Holland, when he was in Civil War, in my opinion, was the best Spider-Man we've ever got.
Yeah, that was like the most pure Spider-Man. Like, he acted the most like Spider-Man he's ever acted in that movie, for sure.
The quips were amazing. You know, Black Panther and Civil War, amazing character. And it's just like, I don't know what happens in between that. Do you just stop caring about the characters? You know, the writers just want to do their own thing. They want to have their own take on the character, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've kind of ranted for a bit now.
Oh yeah, so sorry guys.
Gonna, like, put this part of the thing. It's just we rant for 30 minutes.
We rant. We talk about superhero movies.
Yeah. And just kind of movies in general too, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I will say, you know, I definitely want to hear y'all's opinion, because I tend to have like very controversial opinions, and I'm a contrarian in general. So most people are like, no, like, you know, you have no clue what you're talking about. Like, that's crazy that you say something like that. Well, not more so like you have no clue what you're talking about, but it's like that's a crazy opinion, you know. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think there's definitely some problems with how they're approaching characters and how they're introducing them? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell us. If you like it, then good. Like, that's awesome.
I think next week we should do a rewrite for She-Hulk.
I think that's fair enough. I think we can. Um, I'd love to do that actually, because we have 9 episodes to work with. How many? It's like,
We don't even need that many. like I think
yeah,
I think episode 8 should basically stay the same though. It's just like we choose episode 8, change a few things about it, and then build backwards and forwards based on that episode.
yeah, and I agree with that. I think, you know, we have about 6 hours of content we could. Sorry, it's like 40 minutes per episode, and there
Even.
is
Not even. Not even. The episode ends like 6 or 7 minutes before, like with credits, because the credits are so long for some reason. So it's really only like 25-minute episodes, like 25, 30.
30 minutes. So I know some of them were longer. So when we have around
The longest was 38 minutes.
half, 4 to 4.5 hours worth of things, you know, to fill out. But I don't know. I think that will definitely be good. We can probably definitely talk about D&D stuff because we've been talking about superhero stuff a lot lately.
That's true. All right.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next time. Tell us what you think about everything. Did you like She-Hulk? What are your opinions on superhero movies? What would you like to see? Stuff like that. And we'd love to have a conversation with you about it in the comments.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. Have a good
All
one.
right, see you guys next time. Bye-bye.